True justice. In a village in Bengal, there were two brothers. The elder brother was quite a successful farmer, whilst his younger brother, whose name was Dipu, never seemed to make any headway. Although he worked hard, things never seemed to go quite right. One day, Dipu wanted to cart a lot of manure to his fields, so he went to his brother and asked if he could borrow a bullock cart. "Every time I lend you anything, it always manages to get damaged," his brother said angrily. "Anyhow, I will lend you my bullock cart, but take good care of my prize bullocks. Be sure to bring them back before evening, and do not overwork them." Dipu went off with the bullock cart, and towards the end of the day, when his work was finished, he drove back to his brother's farm. On the way, he wondered if these bullocks could gallop, so he gave them a taste of his whip. The next thing, the bullock cart hit a pothole, careered off the road, and struck a tree. Unfortunately for Dipu, one of the bullocks broke off one of its long curved horns. Dipu's brother was furious when he saw his injured bullock and promptly made a complaint to the nearest magistrate's court. The following week, the two brothers were summoned to attend the court, which was in a town about 10 miles away. They journeyed there together, with Dipu receiving a tongue lashing from his brother every yard of the way. When they arrived at this town, it was decided to spend the night at the house of a friend of Dipu's brother. As the accommodation was somewhat limited, Dipu had to sleep on a hard wooden bench. Dipu just could not go to sleep. He tossed and turned all night. In the end, he fell off the bench and landed on his host's youngest son, who was sleeping on the floor, and broke the boy's leg. The host was raging mad and swore that Dipu had broken his son's leg out of spite. He refused to be pacified and was determined to go to the magistrate's court and lodge a complaint for assault against Dipu. Poor Dipu, fed up with his brother's lectures and his host's abusive tongue, dejectedly made his way to the court, wondering what his future would be. On the way, he had to go across a bridge over the river. When he was on the bridge, with his mind despairing at the thought of impending prison sentences, he decided to end his wretched life. So he jumped off the parapet into the river. Fortunately or unfortunately, Dipu did not land in the river. He landed straight into a small boat in which an old fisherman lay fast asleep. The old fisherman yelled blue murder when Dipu landed on him, which was only natural, seeing that he suffered 2 cracked ribs and innumerable bruises. The fisherman's son, who was on the bank nearby, came running to the scene and accused Dipu of trying to murder his father. He also hastened to the magistrate's court to swear out a complaint. Dipu thought this was the end. His crimes had been unintentional, for which he felt sure would mean years in prison. Well, he thought, my next crime will be intentional. As soon as that magistrate pronounces me guilty, I will break his head. With that, Dipu picked up a nice heavy stone, which he put in a bag. At the magistrate's court, the elder brother stood up and accused his brother of willfully injuring one of his prize bullocks. The magistrate glanced at the accused, but Dipu lifted up the bag containing the stone, so the magistrate could see the fate in store for him. "Ah," thought the magistrate, "the prisoner is offering me a bribe, and by the look of that bag, it should contain plenty of money. Perhaps one should be a little merciful." Putting on his most learned look, the magistrate pronounced, "I order that the accused shall keep the injured bullock until such time as the horn grows again." The elder brother was so amazed he could not speak. Then the magistrate called for the second complaint to be heard. Whilst Dipu's late host poured out a virulent tale as to how his son had been lamed and could no longer help in the house, Dipu again held up his bag for the magistrate to see. The magistrate, with visions of untold gold and silver coming his way, quickly pronounced his judgment. "The accused will loan the plaintiff his own son in exchange for your son until such time as the injured boy's leg is better." "But the accused has not got a son," the plaintiff wailed. "Then wait until he has one," snapped the magistrate. Now the third case was heard, and the magistrate, with his eyes glued on the bag and Dipu's hand, and his thoughts on the money soon to come his way, turned to the fisherman's son. "You say the accused deliberately jumped from the bridge upon your father," he said. "Then you shall jump from the bridge onto the accused, who will be put in a boat under the bridge." Having heard all the cases, the magistrate hurriedly left the court, anxious to collect his bribe. Dipu, satisfied that justice had been carried out, was all smiles, but he had not gone very far when he was overtaken by the magistrate's clerk, who said he had come to collect the bribe that had been promised to his master. Dipu looked frowningly at the man, then burst out laughing. "Go and tell your master I was not offering him a bribe. I was threatening him that I would break his head if he dared send me to prison." As the magistrate's clerk went off, ruefully shaking his head as to what his master would have to say, the three plaintiffs walked up to Dipu. "Look here, Dipu, we feel we have all been too hasty," said his brother. "Let me keep my bullock, and our host will look after his son, and our friend here has no wish to jump off any bridge, so let bygones be bygones. But," he added, taking out a roll of notes, "here is 300 rupees to recompense you for all the trouble we have caused you." Dipu went home very happy. With the 300 rupees, Dipu purchased a pair of bullocks, and somehow afterwards he managed to prosper. Misread greed can accidentally produce true justice. Patience and honesty turn fate.